Howdy, folks. This is Ted Lasso, your favorite optimistic American football coach turned English football coach. And welcome to the Richmond Way, a Ted Lasso rewatch podcast. So grab your biscuits, put on your AFC Richmond scarf, and let's embark on this journey together.
Whistle! Whistle!
Hey, everybody. Welcome to the Richmond Way podcast. My name is Bonnie, and with me we have Marc and Mike. But you guys can, you can talk about yourselves. I just wanted to say your names because you're lovely.
My name's
My name's
so
Mike.
unoriginal.
His name's Marc. I mean, wait, what?
Strike that, reverse it.
Strike that, flip that, reverse.
Yep.
Pulling a, yep.
Yeah. Yep. That's us.
That's
just
us.
Just have some biscuits with the boss.
Biscuits with the boss. And what do you have, Marc, right there? What is that? Can you share that with us? What is that over there?
Well, just in case you don't know what it is, for people watching with video, they very clearly made sure that everybody that didn't. I mean, so this is gonna be a really quick rant. Like, this is the stuff I don't like about like.
Is it going to be though?
Yeah, like when they do tie-in like products for stuff. If someone is going to get it, they already know what it's from. So it should rather just be like a if you know kind of thing, rather than like make it look like it's in universe. Don't you don't have to write Biscuits with the boss over it. You don't have to put the Ted Lasso logo on it, and you don't have to put a quote on the inside of the box too.
Make it in universe, he says.
Yeah. Yeah,
just give us the pink box and give us the biscuits. It's all the people want.
Yeah.
That's all Marc wants.
One of the first Ted Lasso shirts I got was like it had the AFC Richmond logo on it, but then it said Ted Lasso beneath it. I was like, I know it's from Ted Lasso. Put it like on the tag on the inside. If someone knows it's from Ted Lasso, they're gonna know it's from Ted Lasso. You don't need to put Ted Lasso under the AFC Richmond logo too. It's like, I don't know. I just prefer like the merch for stuff that looks like it's something like Ted bought in the show, or whatever other character bought in whatever other show. Like if you bought a Mouse Rat shirt, it shouldn't say Parks and Recreation in the Mouse Rat logo, because if you bought a Mouse Rat shirt from Andy Dwyer, it's not going to say Parks and Recreation underneath the Mouse Rat logo. But anyways, we're here to talk about Ted Lasso.
But if there's anybody from any marketing departments that also handle merchandise, maybe that's a good note. Maybe it's a licensing thing where they have to put that.
Maybe.
I don't know. I am wearing a not Ted Lasso related thing. It just says Sunnydale. It says nothing about Buffy the Vampire Slayer.
But
if you know, you know.
Yeah.
But
it's tangentially connected to Ted Lasso.
You know.
By
Rupert.
A character that has not shown up yet. Well, in photo form, he has shown up.
In photo form, but not in person.
Same actor and same name, but not yet to have shown up in the flesh on the show yet.
Well, maybe when we get to that, we can do some sort of Ted Lasso and Buffy crossover episode and talk about that. That would be fun.
I'd have to watch Buffy. I've never seen it.
Me too.
Well, I highly recommend that you do.
Well,
but
I take that back. I've seen the movie that spurred the TV show.
Oh, with Paul Rubens? Yeah.
Yes.
The movie's great. The show is different, but still very good. But I love the movie. But we're here to talk about something else that starts with a B. Biscuits. Biscuits with the boss. So this is the second episode of season 1. So we're still, starting off relatively
Still feeling it out.
Yeah, we're still seeing who's who, what's going on, but it is starting to build. So I know we each had our thoughts on it. Do we want to go in order of the episode? Do we want to talk about some of the plot notes and then go through that way?
Well, I'll share some really quick here at the front, like before we get into like the actual episode itself. Other than it was directed by Zach Braff, who's worked with Bill Lawrence on Scrubs. Has directed a bunch of his own feature films. So I always liked that he directed one. I believe he directed one other one, but don't quote me on that. But I do know he obviously at least directed this episode, and I don't know if you can really tell that Zach Braff directed it.
Yeah.
But I mean, I thought it was
a
a well-directed episode. So I think it's like a cool little bit of trivia for people that may not have known that.
I
Can't
think
say
it's
you can
just that
tell.
episode.
I'm sorry.
I can't. Yeah, I can't say you
Yeah.
can tell he directed it.
Yeah,
for
I mean, he
certain.
doesn't have like a very distinct, like, it's not like, like how Kevin Smith has like a style or Tarantino has a style or Spielberg or whatnot. It's like,
He may have one, and we just don't notice.
yeah,
It's
his
not like it's
style,
Zach
his
Braff
style,
feet,
yeah, it's more like when he like writes and directs the stuff that he does, more that way.
That's cool. I actually didn't know that until you said that. I missed that in the rewatch.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
But he got an Emmy nomination for directing this episode.
Nice.
There you go.
Because I looked it up. I want to see how many. It was just that one, apparently.
And now he's doing
the same thing.
T-Mobile commercials with Jason Momoa and Donald Faison.
My wife was wondering when we watched that commercial. She's like, "Is he wearing a prosthetic head or something? He doesn't look right." I was like, I don't know.
Although Jason Sudeikis was also in a commercial with Lionel Messi too, which I was like, this is like Ted Lasso adjacent, I guess, because he's in a commercial with someone playing soccer, football. So I thought that was interesting.
That's interesting. But Ted Lasso.
The Jamie Tart in American.
Yeah. More or less. Yeah, I guess. What did you guys? What did you guys like about like this episode as we got like further into like out of the pilot and like into this like more like flowing into the story now?
Well,
you go, Mike.
No, it was just they're just starting to really. They gave us a brief foundation last week. This episode expounded on more of Ted and how he breaks people down than anybody else. We still have all the side characters we got touches on. Like, you still had a heavy Rebecca carryover, but Ted got more this week than he did last week, which was nice because the show he is the title character, so you get to learn why he is the way he is, kind of like how he breaks people, like his coaching style, which he's more like, again, he's more people, Beard's more data, more readily apparent in here. Without Ted learning the Britishisms and Beard just knowing, like, that's that dynamic. They just hit on it so quickly and move on, and it's done nicely. So that's always good. It felt quick. The episode, like, there was no doubt in my mind that they weren't going to win the first game Ted coached. Like, I knew like that was going to be the outcome. So I'm glad they didn't waste time with game footage. It's just like, here's the kickoff, they lose.
Okay.
So I thought that was a smart decision.
That's like a kind of funny like joke within like the edit too. It's like, oh, they're bound to do well today, and then it cut straight to the end of the game, which kind of becomes like a running thing in the show too, where like they'll do that, where like they'll cut, like they're going out to play the game and then cut, and the game's over.
If you've ever watched football, it's not for us Americans, it's not the most exciting sport.
Okay.
Not to say it's not exciting and people don't enjoy it, but the common theme in America is it's boring. We'll find that out later in season 3 when there's but plus it's not really about them playing yet.
Yeah. It's not about the game. It's about everything else, I would say. Yeah. Like, we know what's happening. We don't need to see it because it's not super relevant to the story, weirdly enough. Well, I had a thought. Yeah, I know you have the biscuits with the boss. Do we want to share the recipe? Do we want to make them and share our results on our socials? I think that'd be fun. I have any excuse just to cook or bake something. I'm usually down. I'm not doing it tonight.
I was going to make cupcakes tomorrow, so maybe I could do that instead. I'd have to find a recipe.
I think that could be fun. Because I kind of want to know.
Go ahead.
Yeah. Confused about what?
I watched British Bake Off constantly, and those didn't look like biscuits to me. But maybe I'm wrong. I don't know.
Did either of you try the Jenny's ice cream?
No.
Biscuits with the boss?
But now I want ice cream.
Oh, yeah. That was pretty good. See, they did the whole thing there too. But Yeah. I've made them one time, and I followed one recipe, but I think since then they've released like an official
Official recipe.
recipe. Our friend Alice, who does the Ted Lasso Rocks too, she's friends with, I believe, I want to make sure that I get.
We'll
She
fix
has a
it in
friend.
post.
Yeah, like she has like a friend that makes the makes the biscuits, and like anytime she sends out the the rocks to anybody like that, it's usually it'll be uh, like accompanied by some of the biscuits there with that. So, and I think those tasted really good. The
Hmm.
ones that like I made, uh, I don't know like how close they were to like how they are on the show. Um, but I don't know. Like when you guys got your rocks, did you guys got biscuits with yours too? Did you? Mike?
No.
Oh, Mike
Oh,
didn't. I guess.
I did.
But mine came from across the country, so I can
Oh
imagine
yeah.
why she did not ship them with mine.
I think Bonnie technically, if she wanted to, she could like go to this bakery. So she could probably, yeah, you could probably go and just get the ones from her because I know she had also made like cookies, like American cookies, not biscuits,
Hmm.
for the season 3 wrap show too. So, oh man, I can't. It's gonna bother me that I can't remember her name too. But I'll once this episode gets posted, I'll put the link to her place in like
We'll
the
add
show
it in the
notes.
show notes.
Yeah,
There
there
you
we go.
go.
Yep.
But have you guys ever made them before prior to this and tried them?
I have not, but I want to
Looking
try it. Yeah.
looking at today's show's official Ted Lasso biscuits, they're just sugar cookies. So
Yeah, I mean they're more or less shortbread like
Hmm.
cookies, but like uh definitely you put a little bit more salt in them. So I know like against eventually later in the show like Ted will accidentally have put too much salt rather than sugar in them, and they'll be kind of gross. And we also know like from behind like high in the scenes with like Hannah Waddingham, she said like in season 1 they were really gross, but then
well,
as they
she
got
acted
to
the
like
fuck out of them. So
yeah
Hmm.
yeah, but like as they got to season 3, like they actually did taste good at that point, so she could actually genuinely, you know, say what she does when she bites into one.
Yeah, I put that in the notes.
Got
Like, oh,
biscuits with
that's
boss.
that was genuine. Um, I want to try it because I want to kind of do it as a science experiment in a way. How did he do that with that busy schedule? How long did it take? And then to keep that up every single time. I'd be curious to see how long that would take because I too have a busy schedule. It's not usually coaching a bunch of dudes, but once in a while. So I would be curious to see how long that took. And then, well, how much do you need to make all that? I don't know. I just think like baker's brain. I think it would be interesting.
Yeah, and does he make
That's a big commitment.
like a huge batch for like the week and like
they
only
show that later on. I'm
yeah,
pretty
and
sure.
like only like this time is he making them like one day after the other because he wasn't sure like if like she was gonna want them still, and
He only
that's why
gives her
he's
like
like
3 or 4, right?
yeah, oh yeah, there's like a yeah we see like a box where he puts like the queen like bobblehead in there. It's like a stack of like 5 or so I think,
Mm.
but
But then how are
yeah,
you keeping them fresh and not going stale? See, there's a lot happening here. And I want to get to the bottom of it.
willing suspension of disbelief.
Not when it comes to cooking.
It's not the craziest thing that's happening on the show.
Well,
No,
that's
but
something my brain picked up on.
Yeah.
it shows later on. I don't know if it's season 1 or not. When he offers him spaghetti water, 2-day-old spaghetti water or whatever.
Oh yeah.
Oh God,
It
I
kind of
forgot about
shows
that.
Ted's more willing to go the extra mile for others than himself.
Mm.
Yeah.
So this doesn't bother him. Whereas I got to feed myself and then clean up after my. It's like no, just quick food done. Like
Hmm.
Yeah. Just leave a jar of peanut butter on the counter with the top open.
stick your fingers in.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Dinner.
Super sanitary.
Yeah. Well,
But yeah,
besides the biscuits, which is making me hungry, thinking about making them, what are some of your other favorite parts from the episode? Some of your other favorite plot points?
let's see.
Let's see, what did I have? Let's check the notes.
Let's check
Oh,
our notes.
I guess related to that is like when there's this is like also like the first appearance of like the Arthur Bryant's barbecue sauce, uh, which I have some in my fridge down the hall, uh, which I again purely bought because of the show, and I wanted to try it out. But like he asks Rebecca if well, if there's any food that like transports her back home and makes her feel warm and fuzzy, and there's like a nice, I guess this is where it'd be like a good kind of camera cue there where it like cuts to her like like glancing down at the biscuits, so like the audience gets that kind of thing that maybe something like Ted doesn't notice there,
Hmm.
which I thought was pretty good.
Yeah, it's. I think I want to say it's humanizing her a little bit more. Even
Yeah,
though obviously we know she's human and she's going through stuff, but instead of just Rebecca mean, like you see those little moments of like, oh, there's somebody there who's sad, there's hurting, there's whatever.
Mhm.
It humanizes her again, like we talked about before. It's not just black and white, bad guy, good, like necessarily. There's gray.
yeah,
Which I thought Bill Lawrence always did well in his shows. The Scrubs had Dr. Cox. He was supposed to be the villain, but he's really this worn down, mentally done doctor who's been beaten down by the system but still cares. So having Rebecca have those, like, you can kind of at first there's glimpses. She's like she wants to believe, like she doesn't understand why, like the positivity, and you can kind of see it getting to her. But then the second anything Rupert comes up, she's like, "Fuck it, nope, kill him, done."
Hmm.
yeah,
So the trauma's there, the backstory is there. So that's why you should always have a backstory for your character. Makes them more dimensional.
Yeah,
yeah.
absolutely.
She kind of becomes obsessed with like finding like where he's getting these to. Like she doesn't know that he's making them himself, and we
Well,
don't until the end of the episode either. But
it kind of forgot what he was talking about. What like brings you back type deal, like something that reminds you of your youth, essentially. Like,
yeah,
and then the second she bit into it, she was transported back immediately.
I'll take a looky there.
Oh, those do look good.
Right? Go ahead, take a nibble. That's it. Away you go.
Fuck me. Where did you get these?
Well, I'm glad you
The second she saw them, she had that transport back, and it just got
which
stronger when she bit into them.
it's kind of foreshadowing, but uh, made me think of later on season 3 the gezellig, or I think it's like that's how it's pronounced, like like the Netherlands, like the thing in Amsterdam where it's like it to means like to be like cozy or like to feel like you're at home with that. So it's kind of like of that like same theme.
Oh, whatever that
Ooh.
no-named
Yeah,
guy who she ends up with
yeah.
says.
Spoiler alert for for Boatman, or I guess technically the Flying Dutchman because he's a Dutchman who is a pilot, so he's a Flying Dutchman as it were.
As it were.
Yeah, but
Yeah, that was something. And it's that idea of if you want to get to know somebody or if you want to get find your way to somebody's heart is through their stomach and food, right? And
yeah,
I know we're talking about food a lot, but the episode is friggin' called Biscuits, so that's fine. I think that works.
yeah,
But I think I wrote something down. I'm looking here. It's that food can take you instantly back memories that you have.
Very much
It's
so.
like no time at all. Food, smell, all of that stuff. And we already said it. It makes you see her have that moment. And I think part of that, she's thinking he must be buying them somewhere,
Mhm.
is to me, I read that as her thinking there's no way somebody's making them for me. There's no way that somebody would go through all this trouble to be kind to me. There's no way that men are nice.
Good point. It's a very good point, because I just thought she thought he was an incompetent boob, so there's no way he could make something that good.
Mm-hmm. That too. Yeah.
No, your point. I liked it. I did not. That is a very, very excellent point.
Because I wrote down something in here about she found it kind of off-putting, and how she said he's just nice, and people are not that they necessarily respect him, but that they can be nice to him. But she thought that was weird. Like, why is he nice?
Right.
And when you're not used to that, and somebody is genuinely nice, that's very off-putting, especially for somebody who's going through something very heavy and a lot of betrayal and that trauma. So that's how I read her, is her saying, like, there's no way somebody's going out of their way to make this for me. He had to have bought it, because that's easier to do. Because, I mean, you had, good old Roops always buying stuff.
Yeah,
He
that was
never
his
made
MO.
anything
Yeah.
for her.
He had money. Why waste time? Why put effort?
Doing the love bomb stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Foreshadowing. But
So that was just
He
something
could have been doing that to a baker. You never know.
yeah, and then after like this, like, was there anything else in here, or do we want to talk about some of the stuff like on the pitch, like that happens after this too, like with Jamie and Sam?
We can just talk about that. Why not?
Yeah.
Because
Yeah. We'll
I
just
think
keep
that was
going.
the only time
Yeah.
we heard Sam swear. Maybe I'm wrong. Correct me if I.
Yeah, I think maybe so too, because like this technically in this, like, Tahib Jamal is like a guest star in this episode still too, and like Sam eventually becomes like one of my favorite characters on the show too. I think he's like up there as like one of like my favorite characters on the show. Yeah, Sam's cool.
Yeah.
I have like one of the jerseys I have from the show is Sam jersey.
Mm-hmm.
But like
Like,
one
how
of the
can you not love him,
yes, Sam's awesome.
I
like,
was
we had, like,
skeptical, though. I was. When other things started happening, I texted my friend and I was like, "Oh no, is he gonna please tell me he's still gonna," and she's like, "No, you're fine. Sam, it's okay. Sam's not gonna hurt you." And I was like, "Okay." That's all. That's all. I just needed to throw that in there. Yeah, Sam is great. I want to hug him in the
Yeah.
note.
And like, so like Jamie is like basically, because in this season 2, because Rebecca's kind of like a villain-esque, and then Jamie kind of is too, but we're also like on the show, like everyone's not like black and white, like we've said. It's like all like kind of like layered shades of stuff. So like Jamie's kind of like bullying the other people on the team, which again, like much later in the future, we can kind of see like he's like hurt people, because like his dad did that to him, which I'm sure when we get to season 3, Mike will have plenty of thoughts about Jamie's dad's arc that we see by the end of that season. Yeah.
He didn't need
Just
one.
Save to season 3.
You already said that he had an arc, so
Yeah.
you opened Pandora's box there. That's you pushed that button.
Pandora's box.
Ha 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 ha.
But yeah,
I don't know
and
what
then
that laugh was.
was
Ha
it
ha ha ha.
it was like a Muppet laugh, and
A little bit.
uh,
A little bit.
Muppet.
If I turn
Roy
into a
Kent-
Muppet, nobody will be surprised.
I mean, Roy Kent would appreciate it. He loves the Muppets, as does
So
Brett
do I.
Goldstein. So
Mhm.
I mean, everybody loves the Muppets.
I mean, if
It's
you
hard to
don't,
hate the Muppets.
yeah, that's a character flaw. If you hate the Muppets, like, what did they do to you? How can you hate the Muppets? That's a good litmus test for a person. Is that a person you want in your life if it's somebody who hates the Muppets? Maybe time to reevaluate that friendship.
I don't know.
Little Muppets.
But this is also like I have this later on for like one of my favorite quotes. But this is like something that became like one of like the defining, I guess, like marketable like quotes from the show too, is the like basically from like the scene Ted asks Sam, he's like, do you know what
Oh,
the
yeah.
happiest animal on earth is? It's a goldfish. It has 10-second memory. Be a goldfish.
The happiest animal on earth is? It's a goldfish. You know why?
No.
It's got a 10-second memory. Be a goldfish, Sam.
So, like,
Although Mythbusters disproved that.
yeah, I mean, it's, yeah, the goldfish doesn't actually have a 10-second memory, but it's the
They
thought
have a 10-second
behind,
lifespan.
yeah, well, you know, it's
That might be
the
what.
thought behind the saying more than the truth behind the saying, I guess.
My
But
brother won a goldfish at like a school carnival. That thing was vicious. It killed every fish it came into contact with. Like we got sick of taking care of it, so we gave it to the local orthodontist who had this massive fish tank. It killed all his fish.
what is it, Finding Nemo?
I don't know. And it was like I must not have been a goldfish because it started out like that in the little bag that you get.
Is it a piranha?
No, it was not. Then
Or
it turned
beta?
it turned white and had like just one little gold spot. And it just got huge and it just killed every other fish in the tank with it.
Jeez, sounds like a
So,
koi or like a beta fish.
It probably was a koi fish based on the coloration it turned, but
That's
it
crazy.
was just funny because
Well,
we
don't be a
gave-
koi. Don't be a koi fish.
killed everything.
Be a goldfish. Or what did you guys think about like the like? Because this is also kind of showing this like this other layer to Roy here too, like showing that like he is like a generally like kind person who's like sticking up for Sam and like trying to like help him out there too. So we're kind of seeing like these other.
That's why he was the captain. They admit further
Yeah.
it cements that role. It's just he's the veteran, he's the leader, he's more than his hard exterior.
I have a soft spot for characters like that, where it's like they're tough on the outside, they're little softies inside. Maybe I relate a little bit, but like Raphael, my favorite Ninja Turtle. Roy Fael, there's a theme. I don't know. Maybe he should have been the leader, but whatever. It's fine.
Raphael. Well, eventually, you know. But yeah,
You gotta know what a crumpet is to play cricket.
Crumpet.
But yeah, you get that Roy Jamie dynamic, and
Mhm.
we find out in this episode that Jamie's on loan from Man City, arguably Manchester United. I can't remember which one it is off the top of my head right now. Either
Yeah, it's
way,
Man City.
arguably like the greatest football team in England, if not ever, because of all the success they have. But so you got to think, is he overcompensating because he wasn't good enough to be on that team? That he was shipped off to this lowly team, and what? Because everyone was better than him. So obviously he's going to be in his head about that. And so there's just a little context that some people might not know if they don't follow or know anything about football.
Yeah.
That at this point in time, I really didn't. So I learned it from watching the show.
And then people will also want to keep in mind and keep that in the front of their head too, that he's on loan from a different team technically, because that will come back into play.
Mm-hmm. It's that idea, especially with both Roy and Jamie, that everybody acts the way that they do. I mean, it's kind of everybody on the show and in real life. Everybody acts the way they do for reasons. Nobody's just however they are because that's it. It's usually always because of something, whether it's their personal life, whether it's their professional life. There's, that's just how it is, and there's always reasons for it. It makes for great TV and great writing when there's conflict.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's the heart of drama. I had that nailed into my head in theater school. But no, I think that was some setting up that relationship dynamic with the two of them and like really kind of laying that out for us to see even more so, I would say.
Yeah. And then like even like the stuff like with more of the stuff with Sam in this too is that like Ted like kind of notices that Sam is depressed like with like everything that's going on there, plus with like being like homesick for Nigeria. So like he and Beard kind of deduced to like set him up with like a birthday party with the players donating money. And this is where we see one of those first of the the arts and craft boxes that Nate and his niece made,
Beast make.
Mm-hmm.
which eventually I don't remember. Do you remember? Did we see his niece ever?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
I
Yeah, 'cause
initially thought he made that up when he's like,
yeah,
"No, I
like
made it with
where
my niece."
people thought like he was making himself, but he wanted to like not make it sound like he was making them by himself. So he's like, "Yes, I made them with my niece, my niece."
Yeah.
But,
My niece, wink, wink.
yeah. So I think, and I know that you had some in your notes about the Sam's birthday too, Bonnie.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Let me find that. Da-da-da-da, bow, dow, bow. Yeah, I thought that was really nice. And again, we didn't need to see as much of them playing because it was more about them versus their games. But I thought that was really sweet of like, especially with Ted noticing that and noticing that Sam was not necessarily okay when maybe nobody else, if they noticed, they just didn't, not that they didn't care,
You're
but he
programmed
went,
in sports to not care about it.
yeah,
So,
but it's showing it's more than just the game. Like
mhm.
we're all in this together. And I really like that, yeah, Ted doesn't virtually know anything about the game, but he knows people and he knows people's hearts. And he's like, well, if I can't really do this, but I can get to people this way. And I think that's really just really cool. It's a cool approach for a character. And I really like that it was a little bit of team unity. They're not winning stuff.
Yeah.
They're not unifying that way by
Right.
winning. So why not boost morale and why not? It's just such a dose of positivity and it was really nice. Go to a little party. That's what I put. It's like it was really nice.
Yeah. I liked, and then like the even like the birth, like we'll see like the birthday cake later on is like basically it's like a little like soccer football pitch on there too, which again later on in episode 2 we see Higgins like barehanding some of the cake
Yeah,
too.
he's found his people too. Like Higgins buys into Ted so quickly
Yeah.
that it's just funny because it adds that layer of the dynamic with him and Rebecca. Because he'd rather be with Ted than her, obviously. Although
Mhm.
it was a funny little note in the part where Ted walks in and he's like, oh, "That's a threesome I'd want to be part of," or whatever. Higgins like gags.
Yeah. And I think one of you had it in like one of your quotes. I don't. It's kind of jumping around, but like there was talking about like Ted and Higgins were gonna have like lunch together or like salads or something
Both
like
put
that.
I think we both put Caesar
Yeah.
later.
Oh, yeah,
Teaser you later.
Caesar. And I like that, and like in that scene too, where like Ted comes like back and he
Flying back
throws
in.
the door back. He's like, yes, yes, because I think I remember like some behind the scenes thing too, where like either Jeremy Swift or Hannah Waddingham said something like they didn't know he was gonna come back in the room like that, so like their expressions to
It was definitely
like
a choice that you know that they didn't rehearse.
yeah, like their expressions to the way Ted comes back.
Caesar, you later.
Yes. Yes.
Comes back in are actually like their real expressions. I think that's also like I don't remember where within this episode this was too, but this is also like where he does the high five.
Bet on that. I mean, unless you want to win a buttload of money. High five, tree. Woo!
Right from the beginning.
Like one of the first times
Pretty
that
sure.
happened too. And that was also just like a random thing that Jason Sudeikis did when he was leaving was just like high five tree. Which I think that comes back later on in like season
He
2.
does
I
it
don't.
several times.
Yeah,
I
and it's
think.
just, but it's like a sad one in that. It's just like,
Mm-hmm.
but yeah, that tree i- is pretty awesome.
Whoa.
Yeah. Um.
I'm assuming it's supposed to be a coat rack, right?
Yeah, I think it like yeah, like the full size version of it is like supposed to be like a coat rack, and I think it's like from like IKEA or some kind of furniture place like that. Uh, but I don't know, like because we also in this episode too, you were talking about it a little bit was like with the match that's in this too. I think it's kind of like a cool little Easter egg there too is that the first team like that we see them play against is Crystal Palace, which the stadium that they use for Nelson Road for AFC Richmond's stadium and pitch in the show is the real life stadium for Crystal Palace. Uh,
Amazing.
so I like how they do that, but that made me wonder, like in the context of the world of the show, what does the stadium for Crystal Palace then look like? Does it just look a lot like AFC Richmond's? Uh, but
I mean, at some point in time, most sports complexes just look the same.
yeah, but yeah. So if anybody wants to visit the Nelson Road Stadium, they can just go to the Crystal Palace Stadium in the UK, check that out, and then that's what it is. That's the real Nelson Road in real life.
My brain really wanted to have some type of metaphor about glass houses because they were playing Crystal Palace, but I couldn't find it. I could not find a correlation other than wanting it.
Ted does make some joke about Crystal Palace.
Yeah, it's something about it doesn't seem very sturdy or something. I can't remember.
Yeah.
And then Nate breaks the glass in the window.
Yeah, palace made out of crystal seems mighty fragile to me.
Ooh. We might be onto something, guys. Hoo-hoo. I would love it if one of the writers was watching this and they were like, yeah, we put that in there and you got it.
Someone noticed.
Oh, we didn't add this to the soundboard, but the beard metaphor.
Mm-hmm.
We have to add that to the soundboard.
Oh yeah, we do.
Reminder.
We do.
That was in episode 1.
Yeah, Mike made a note too about this too. Is that this episode is also like a much stronger kind of like character building for Keely too, with like what we get with Keely in here too. And one of the
her entrance in this was way better than like
solid entrance.
yeah, she has more to do in this episode too. She's not like just kind of.
Why like last episode I felt she was thrown in because oh shit, we got to introduce her somehow.
Yeah, which I think maybe like in retrospect they didn't necessarily need to do that because like some characters that haven't even like shown up yet. Yeah.
Probably would have been suffice in my book, but they had the interaction with the sign, which was nice.
Yeah. But yeah, like they did have this nice thing in this episode too with her, with like the what would you rather be, a panda, or a lion?
Or a lion.
And what would you guys rather be, a panda or a lion?
Elephant.
It's only panda or lion.
Kung Fu Panda.
I'd probably pick panda. I understand why you'd pick a lion, but
what's
panda?
Black and white and red all over.
A panda who got eaten.
A panda that got mauled by a lion.
I'd want to be a Kung Fu Panda.
Yeah.
Specifically, because I love Jack Black and martial arts. If
Go.
I had to pick one, didn't say I couldn't.
I'd just
his girth.
Why would I want to be anything else? I'm me.
That's a good line.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was reminded of the Community line when you said Jack Black, because his hip flexibility and girth ratio was crazy. Did you see him do those high kicks?
I love Jack Black.
Jack Black's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah,
mine.
I think that I pick Panda.
But yeah.
Let's say you,
But
Mark. You've
Rebecca's
got
in
it.
that. Yeah. Mark, you're gonna say lion, aren't you?
I'd say panda too.
Oh. Yeah,
Just 'cause
she's not
pandas
feeling like a panda.
are
Yeah.
very resilient too, because like if anyone ever looks up like YouTube videos of just like pandas,
They're just
like,
falling off trees and crap
yeah,
all
just
the
like
time.
falling off crap. They can fall like 40 feet from the top of a tree, like hitting every branch on the way down. They'll just like get up on the bottom and be like, "What's up?"
Mm-hmm.
It's good. They got all that they got all that fat padding that's like basically like a built-in like airbag.
Hey, they're just big boned, okay?
I mean,
Not their fault. Their dads are noodles salesman ducks.
yeah. Or that their biological father sold crystal meth. Bryan Cranston was the voice of Poe's biological father.
I don't remember that from the DreamWorks movie. Is that in the fourth
yeah.
one?
Maybe.
Possibly. To be determined next month when it comes out in theaters. From the day that we're recording this in February of 2024. But yeah,
I guess go see Kung Fu Panda. Is that what we're talking about?
Sure.
Oh, is this going to be a sponsored one? Cool.
I wish.
Call me.
Animation Fascination crossover. Here we go.
Hey.
Yeah. But yeah, like when people are asking like this question too, Ted asks Jamie. He's like, "Why would you rather be?" He's like, "Why would I want to be?" I was like, "I'm me. Why would I want to be anything else?" And that's where I'm not sure you
just a great
understand
line.
how psychologically healthy that actually is.
It's a great line.
Yeah. Which is weird that it also comes from Jamie too, because he's not actually psychologically healthy.
No, but
at least not yet.
But a broken.
You don't have to be 100%. Yeah, you don't have to exactly. That mentality is probably the best mentality to have. It's like, well, I don't want to change. I'm me.
Jamie, what would you rather be, a lion or a panda?
Coach, I'm me. Why would I want to be anything else?
I'm not sure you realize how psychologically healthy that actually is.
I'm comfortable being me, so.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and it's kind of jumping around a little bit too, but like from like one of the, I'm just gonna put one of the other quotes that I had in here too, is that one of the things that Ted says to Jamie in this too is, Jamie, I think you might be so sure that you're one in a million that sometimes you forget that out there you're just one of 11. And then like coming off of that too, like later on when we see Trent Krim like kind of asking Jamie a question as he's like leaving to, I don't remember if he was going to do something with Keeley or if he was just like leaving.
He's leaving he's
like,
just leaving.
Yeah, during like Sam's birthday party, but he
he
kind of gives that kind of answer, like he's like, oh, it's not just me, I'm just one of 11. But then so you kind of see that there's room there for Jamie to grow slightly, but then
he's not ready yet.
Yeah, he's like immediately reverts back to, he's like, no. It's like they're just in there eating cake, dancing around like it's a party and stuff.
And that's when you see Higgins just
yeah, like dancing around and stuff there.
Mm-hmm.
But also, I guess related to the lion and panda stuff, the whole reason that even comes up is Keeley's photo shoot. So what do you guys think of that scene?
Well, the real reason was to give Rebecca some context in her mindset.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, she's not.
But also,
the storyline.
It also gives Rebecca a reason to do something else later on in the episode too.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
What did you guys think of like that whole kind of, because it's like Ted and Keeley kind of becoming closer friends there too in that scene.
This scene essentially made me think, oh, she's just the British female Ted in a way. So that was just what I thought. It's like they're on the same wavelength on how to deal with people.
That's true.
Huh.
I also
Like,
thought it was interesting
everyone
too
first, me second type deal.
that like Keely is like afraid of Rebecca, like in this episode too.
Well, yeah, they're not friends yet, so
Yeah,
Mhm.
I just thought that was kind of
I'd
interesting.
probably be afraid of
I
her too
forgot
in
that
this
whole
episode.
dynamic. But
Yeah, I put something leading up to that was uh, in the first episode we have Rebecca kind of throwing Ted to the wolves in the press conference, and then not that she kind of had that her own moment with that, but she did, and that was kind of why, like, just do it, because she was totally embarrassed. The idea of, I know we're going back a bit, but it leads up to
No,
this.
you're
Um
good.
yeah, where it was that idea of taking her power back with her last name, which I was
yeah,
like, "Yes, queen, go." Like, and honestly, I thought her name sounded better than his last name. Um,
Agreed. I will
yeah.
just say her real last name is
Waddingham,
way more Richie sounding than the two she has in this show.
because you're
Mhm.
waiting, because you're wading through ham. I don't know.
And
It's
meat
just
is expensive.
Yeah, but ham is gross.
depends on what type of ham.
Ham is the tea of meats.
Depends on how it's made.
It's garbage water.
If you're eating spam, yeah. Sorry, Hawaii. I know you like your spam.
No, musabi is good. Musabi is good. Ham is not good.
Depends on how you make it.
And that has been our Richmond Way cooking corner soapbox about ham and spam
Ham,
and tea.
spam, and the man.
We talk more about that than biscuits so far.
Spam a lot.
Yeah, but okay, question I want to pose to you guys.
Oh,
Had that not happened, had she not been totally embarrassed in front of everybody, and she still put on she still cracked a joke, public facing, had that not happened, do you think she would have set up that photo shoot at the end of the episode?
Oh. And all this time I thought men couldn't multitask.
I don't know, because I feel like she was still.
she may not have used it. She may have been like, "No, I had a change of heart."
Mm-hmm.
But I think the reporters asking her put it in her head to search for it, and the timing of course, the coincidental timing of him calling while she's searching is what pushed her to make the decision. But she wouldn't. I don't feel she would have been looking for it had she not known it happened again.
Yeah.
So that yeah, I'd say that definitely pushed her to pull the trigger and run with it.
Mm-hmm.
That's true.
That's what I
Yeah.
thought, but I wanted to ask you guys that.
Yeah, I probably would agree with that too, because I think at least right now, like in the mindset she's in, like within the show, at least from like that first episode where we kind of think that she's kind of being, kind of like taken aback a bit with Ted there in that first episode, and then like you're like, oh no, she's still like gung ho with what she wants to do. So
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I don't think that has not changed one bit. But
yeah, not yet.
hurting Ted and for a lesser extent Keely, because she doesn't care about her in this instance. She's just fodder for the plan.
Yeah.
That the hurt she had, that was her way of dealing with it, was I'm going to take it and apply to him.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and then we can kind of see also that Higgins is also, like you were saying earlier too, is like already more like bought into
He's full
the
team
Lasso
Lasso
way as it
already.
was. Yeah, like which you just said Team Lasso. I guess that's where like all that merch comes from WB, where it says Team Lasso on it. Which, yeah, that's another thing. It's like you have a team on the show. It's AFC Richmond. Like,
But it's not called AFC Richmond. It's called Ted Lasso.
that's true. Well, maybe if they do another show, it'll be called. Well, maybe Apple will end up getting in touch with us if they end up doing that, because then we might have taken the name that they would have called a follow-up show.
Hey, got to be there first.
Yeah.
You're not first, you're last.
There
Well,
you
that's
go.
not true. You can be second or third.
Hell, I was probably high when.
Great film.
Oh man. Uh,
But yeah, it
whatever.
feels like Rebecca's so set, just like seeing everything through pain and how she dealing with that. I'm gonna hurt Rupert no matter what the cost. Everybody else is collateral damage. I don't care. He hurt me. Like she's so
Right.
focused on that, but you can kind of see little cracks in that.
Yeah,
Like,
because it's truly against her inner true core belief in my life.
mm-hmm.
And you
Oh
get
yeah,
that already, not just having watched the show so many times, but
hurt people, hurt people.
Yeah, and then like the other thing in here too, which like another like with another one of the Nate's like boxes that he made in there too was the like suggestion box. So not just the birthday one, but like also the suggestion box. Jamie puts the gum in there, but like Roy also doesn't really see like the appeal of doing that. He's like, we have such a like a losing record, and you think getting better snacks is gonna in the vending machines is gonna be just like, well, do you need better snacks?
right.
Mm-hmm.
And like one of the things on there is like the water pressure in the showers, and eventually like later on we see like there's a good joke there too where he's like, someone better check that shower's prostate, just because of like how it's just like dribbling out, like that. But like by the end of the episode, you'd see like it's like
Mm-hmm.
full water pressure, and that like knocks Colin over when he turns
Right.
the water on there too.
It's the little things in life. That's what Ted's all is like. It's the little things that bring you up.
Yeah,
You're coming in every damn day, and it's this sucks, this sucks, this sucks. Like, why would
yeah.
you want to play well?
If you're
Mm-hmm.
already like in a certain mindset of like whatever, like little minor annoyances, thing like that will be like multiplied exponentially in your head, in the like if you were having a good day and like something like that, or like you're just like everything was going good and like that was like the only thing that was bad, like it wouldn't feel like that much of a thing to you. But like if you're already having like a crap like time all the time, and then that's also happening, it's gonna like ratchet up how much more that like sucks to you at
Mm-hmm.
that point.
It's like when you're having a bad day and then your coat gets caught on a doorknob and then you stub your toe and like the little things that normally wouldn't bug you, but when you're already having a bad day, makes it worse, exactly like you said. But
Yeah,
it's those, and it's like what you both have said, those little things to show I see you and I hear you and I acknowledge you and I'm
yeah,
listening. You
yeah,
say there's a problem, cool. But that's another, like, I think to Ted, making those biscuits is a little thing. Whereas to somebody else, that might be like, oh my God, this is the best thing anybody's ever done for me. But for him, that's just, yeah, that's what I do. It's
yeah.
just a little thing just to show that somebody cares or whatever. But it's those little things that add up to big things. And that's
That's
really
true.
cool. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think that's most of like the stuff in the episode. Did we?
Yeah.
I know there's
I like the
some.
flow.
Yeah, I think there's some stuff that like we may have missed like in our notes.
Oh yeah, well, there's always going to be some stuff.
Yeah,
We can always cover that now if you want to go back and read through.
yeah,
But on the comment of the little things, I've had so many jobs where the place is broke, like they can't put money into anything. Like the one I worked at for way too long was Movieplex with Marc.
oh
the
yeah,
movie theater. I was like the head projectionist. I was there. I was basically like they didn't pay overtime because they didn't want to. So I could not work for a month and I'd still have 40-hour weeks. It was just ridiculous. And I was on like some long ass shift,
so you get a
and
bounce paycheck.
that happened a lot too. Paycheck bounce, you show up, they just go open the safe and hand you money and say go away. But like stuff was breaking, like, and you have to put band-aids to fix it together. People are downstairs yelling about something, and like I'm dealing with so much pressure, and I was so miserable. I remember like something brain wrapped, and I fixed, like I turned it off, and I gave the refunds, And I went upstairs, stubbed my toe. I turn around and see Jude Law's face on an Elfie poster. And I just lost it and punched it as hard as I could because it was
Or
just a
Jude Law.
smiling face. Well, Jude Law won because it was a cement wall and I broke my fist.
He showed you the skeleton crew on your hand.
This is another show for you. But
Uh,
it's just like, but had they not been embezzling money and put money back into the place and things worked and I had proper training and proper tools, I might not have broke my hand. I might have been.
Yeah. And quick aside for people that weren't ever projectionists, the brain wrap is when the film gets stuck in the projector and then the light burns through it, and then all
stop. Yeah, it's like melt.
Yeah, and then all the film gets all effed up on the platter that the film was sitting on.
And then you got to rip it out and cut it all, splice it all together.
Fun times. Most theaters probably wouldn't have that anymore because it's all digital. Most theaters, but if the theater still does have a film projector, that has the possibility of happening.
Sometimes for no reason at all. It's because it wants to.
Yeah, my story related to that, I can't really talk about because it's a place that I'm currently at.
So cut here and splice them.
Yeah, I mean, I talked about most of my plot notes for me. A lot of my other and my character highlight stuff. So most of my other stuff is just going to be like in the quotes and like foreshadowing Easter eggs and the soundtrack stuff.
I mean, the one quote I liked that stood out because Ted does it a lot, and I didn't realize there was a pattern. Was Jamie's leaving? He says cheers, and then after a beat, Ted goes night court.
Cheers. Night court.
Oh yeah, like with the Ussy guy where he's like wicked, and
Kinky
he's like
boots.
Kinky boots. But I've started doing that too. If anybody,
not the musical one. Sorry, don't mind me.
if anyone ever replies wicked to me something now, I'll reply like if it's like written to, I'll just reply kinky boots. and then if they don't, and then if they're just like, wait, what? I'll be like, nothing.
Don't.
Better yet, just send them a picture of boots. Don't even say kinky boots.
Or just send send the poster for the movie. I think you talked about this your note, Bonnie, the lesson, like the last note you had about like the lesson for the plot, I think. You did? Or like
yeah. I didn't have it in quotes because I moved it up to plot like you just said, but I had to scroll.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
You can be kind to others.
Mm-hmm. You can still be kind to others, and they may still take out their whatever emotions, personal life, whatever.
Yep.
You can still be kind to others, and they may still treat you like garbage, and it sucks. But that doesn't stop you from being kind. It's the right thing to do.
And just know, if you are the retaliator, you will be the one who gets in trouble. The person who pisses you off to where you retaliate usually never gets in trouble.
Yeah.
Just remember that.
Yeah, just don't feed the troll.
Oh, trolls.
Mm-hmm. Those are fun.
That's all they want is the attention. That's what they thrive
on. Mm-hmm.
They want the drama and the tension, and if you don't give it to them,
they'll usually wither and go away, but sometimes they won't. And then this episode too, Jeremy Swift also won where is it? Jeremy Swift won an Emmy for this, I believe, for this episode.
He did?
Or was nominated.
I was saying, I didn't think he won.
Yeah, Jeremy Swift submitted this episde.
He was good in this episode. It was
nomination at the Emmys. He lost the award to Brett Goldstein.
Well.
Yeah, Brett Goldstein won that quite often for the first 2 years. Bill Dunster should have won it for season 3.
I would agree.
Because The Bear's not a comedy. That's a whole different podcast. But yeah, Mike, I think Mike, did you do all your plot points that you wanted to talk about?
I just mentioned this really breaks into how Ted's ability to read people and ignore what they're saying and kind of just sit there and drill. is like on full display until like they essentially be firm with him and get his attention and like snap him out of it. Like you find that you get to see that like his positivity. Like Rebecca's like, I can't do this, and he just won't shut up. He just keeps going and going and going and going.
It's true.
I was actually so I've shared this TV show with a few people now. After watching it, it's just you watch a good show and you tell people about it and then they get something different out of it. But I was talking to my mom about it and she asked me after the first 2 or 3 episodes and she asked, "Is Ted actually that nice or is it an act?"
I think it's 6 and 1/2 dozen or the other, depending on the situation.
Mm-hmm.
Which we will find out soon, I think, in this season, when they first go to that away game, and Nate's putting that note in and out of the door.
Sorry. That scene makes me laugh when we get to it.
But yeah, because the way he snaps at him.
Yeah, I was gonna not because of the way Ted snaps at him, just because I would be Nate in that situation where I'd be like, oh shit, wait, no, yes, no, crap, no, crap.
Because I mean, outside of Beard, Ted doesn't have the same support system he gives other people.
Mm-hmm.
So, in most cases, those people it's a front.
Yeah.
And Marc's got a beard.
Yeah. Always. And a
No,
mustache.
that was something I wanted to throw out there based on that comment of how he just has a way of. What was your note? What did you write? Mike.
I don't know.
The ability to read people and the buttons to press and the like finding that in whatever that is. But yeah, that was something I wanted to bring up of like how some people are just maybe not used to. What does that say about our world that we see a character who's nice like this for whatever reason, but is nicer to other people than himself, whatever. But we go, is that genuine? God, I've done that with dating. Why are they nice? But that is, I think, a testament to the character and to the show.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've definitely had the Ron Swanson answer when someone asks me something. It's like, why? Like instead of just being like, oh, they're interested in what I'm doing. Like, why are you? You go away.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's what I like about this show, though.
And I think Mike said something in there too.
Oh man, I'm saying lots of stuff I don't remember.
No, just I think you pointed out, or I think maybe pointed out, this is like May's first episode.
I don't remember. I think we just saw her last week, but this is the first time she spoke.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
The Yoda of Ted Lasso.
Yeah.
Little and old.
Yeah. Tells Ted not to let people call him a wanker.
Mm-hmm. It's just like, hey, don't let them call you that. Like, you're right.
He's like, what's that mean? He's like, oh. He's like, oh, thanks, because I'm a visual learner, so that helps. That helps.
Mm-hmm.
My second roommate in college got mad because I said the word wanker because his mom's full-blown British. And he's like, only I'm a... It was like his N-word.
Oh, jeez.
He was like so offended that I said it. It's like, you're not British. You can't say that. I was like, okay.
I could be a little bit.
I don't know what I am.
You're probably mostly Italian.
I don't know. According to my one crazy aunt, we're part Native American, so.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, according to 1980s ads, if you're Italian, you can play a Native American in a commercial that cries when people throw trash on the ground. So.
Everyone wants to be Italian, according to Andrew Dice Clay.
Oh, there's that.
And then, I am, but I just don't know what percentage.
Yeah. And then, so like one of my favorite quotes in here too is like when we see Ted, like in the opening episode. He's like, just had one piece of cereal and I'm pretty stuffed. Like the huge, like basically one huge like
Shredded wheat.
Frosted wheat, not mini wheat,
Sans
frosted
frosting.
like huge wheat. I think just I think like actual real cereal.
It was sans
like
frosting. It was shredded
just
wheat.
like just like a huge biscuit thing. That I'm a lot of biscuit, but you know what I mean.
Yeah, you add hot water and it makes it all soupy, and then you eat it.
And then there's like the other thing that Rebecca says something to Ted about, like you can't just waltz in here. Is like, what if I saw
shoe?
Or despite recent headlines, it's still fun to moonwalk. Which I've noticed some stuff in like between this episode and the last episode, which like are these like quick aside jokes that I didn't notice before. Where like Ted also says something to Nate at one point. He's like, "Are you still just laughing at everything?" He's like, "I'm not sure what's a joke and what's not." He's like, "Yeah, that's kind of how it is nowadays." So I was like, these like little things that I didn't notice, like Ted was like commenting on at the time too. And what were your like favorite quotes, Bonnie, like from the episode?
Putting the boots on the boot. That whole thing.
Hired from a job where I'm putting cleats in the trunk of my car.
You got the boot for putting boots in the boot.
We're talking about the boot. Get the boot, putting the boots on the boot. I just thought it was funny. And I had said that there's so many examples, like really good examples of comedy in here. They're well written, they're well executed, but they're not going like, "Hey, I'm telling a joke, waka waka." You know, I love Fozzie, but they're not doing the delivery like that. There's a lot of really good physical comedy when we see it, but the actual comedy writing is very well done. Like straight delivery with beard is what sold that and made it good. Like just it's just very well done. That was I really liked that just small moment, just a little lines about that, and then the delivery is what made it funny. And that's why I tell people with voiceover stuff, when it's a comedy script, don't play it truthfully. Don't try to be funny, because then it's not going to be funny. And like Brendan Hunt is so good at that, of the comedic beats and the timing and just nailing the delivery on those lines and making it just funny. It's just great. Just great. I already said Jamie's quote. We did the Caesar you later. I said Ted imitating the Tasmanian devil was funny.
Yeah.
It's just from the voice actor perspective, but it was some good stuff.
That was a good one. And then, Mike already said both of his too.
I didn't have many because you guys, I put them in there. I was like, oh, they have a lot. I don't want to double up. So,
cheers, Night Court.
That was
me laughing about it 10 minutes later.
Night Court now back on TV.
It is back on streaming.
Oh.
Or is it on actual TV? I don't even know.
I don't know. I just know it's now a show that exists also again. And then
which I find it because they called it the best new show on TV in a commercial, and I'm like, it's not new.
It is if you're a certain age and didn't know it existed before, I guess.
Everything old is new again.
Yeah, Twisters. So
man,
the foreshadowing, like and then / Easter egg stuff that I had in there. I already talked about it, like that huge shredded wheat. Then I don't remember what. I know she has a name, but the character we saw in the first episode, the girl playing soccer, that Ted then plays, kind of like a one-on-one with in this episode 2 and in the aforementioned Tasmanian Devil episode scene, which I always thought they were gonna do more like with her too, just how she was kind of like peppered in like that too. Maybe if they do. Pushing like way ahead. Maybe if they do end up doing like the women's AFC Richmond team, maybe she'd be on that.
Knowing that is what where my brain went now. But the first time I watched it, I was like, oh, he just misses his kid, and this is his way of getting that interaction.
I mean, that could just be it too. I guess we get the Kenny Rogers, the gambler thing that like again we had that like aforementioned stuff in Amsterdam later on in season 3. I also noticed here too in this episode where Ted's like doing this with his hands at one point, like when they're first out in the field.
Well, yeah,
So that's like another little
earlier.
hint of his like anxiety and panic attacks there, and like Beard notices it and like tells him, like basically kind of like reassures him there too. So I thought that was interesting because I don't remember all of these because I guess they didn't stand out as much when you don't know they're building up to something later on. So it's cool going back now and kind of
Plant and
seeing
payoff.
like seeing how much like they did kind of layer that in, like even from the pilot into like this episode and like further in, and then the offsides mentioned here in this episode, the army men, the Arthur Bryant's barbecue sauce, and then the note I kind of noticed like again Jamie being upset by Ted and Sam discussing dads and like fathers. There was like a touchier subject for him for reasons we will eventually find out.
A little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Still didn't deserve what he got.
Yeah. Well, Jamie did, yes.
No, his dad.
Yeah. What did you guys have for your foreshadowing?
All I had was what I mentioned was the Biscuits bringing her back to some core memory, whether it be her dad or her mom or whatever. Something obvious that I caught. It was just like something big's coming from this somehow, some way down the line. Other than that, he was like, "Oh, you guys got most of them."
Mm-hmm.
That's true.
Yeah. I mean, I just put Nate and his niece, and then the army men. That's the stuff that I hadn't mentioned yet.
One thing I did notice, the hooligans weren't in this episode, despite May's bar being shown full of fans for the first time.
Oh yeah.
Maybe
they were hungover.
Yeah,
it's entirely possible.
It's true.
That does happen.
You want to talk about the soundtrack?
Yeah.
Some good stuff in this.
Say not really.
Mentioned and played. Yeah, well, nothing stood out to you.
Yeah, I was like, not like last week or last episode.
Mark, what about you?
Well, we had the Lizzo song playing at Keely's photo shoot, the Juice. And then DJ Beardo bringing up music at Sam's birthday, the award tour by a tribe called Quest. And then I thought this one was funny, like as a choice of like the choice of song for Slam by Onyx for Roy enjoying like the water
eater pressure.
Yeah, that was a typo. I knew what I wanted to, but yeah, the water pressure in the shower. I thought that was kind of funny because then obviously like also it hits Colin and he like falls over. So like a nice little like physical comedy there, and then the song over the end credits, which
we both talked about that. Yeah,
the glad all over.
Which
I heard it wrong at first too, which is kind of funny too with how it could be taken that context to it. I originally, when I typed this, wrote bad all over, which is it's just kind of funny because like the note that you put there for yours. Is, yeah, it's like the opposite of the vibe that Rebecca has going on at that. So, which hers is more of bad all over rather than the glad all over.
I mean, great song, right?
Yeah, it's a great song. I like that.
But I had to pick something. It was that Higgins' first concert was Boy George.
Oh yeah, I like how he just says it really quickly. Like first concert,
smirks.
Boy George.
And he's like, he smirks, and I was like, oh, that's a pretty. I'm not think about it.
Sure.
He should go see him in Moulin Rouge.
Yeah, I thought you were gonna say prison, but that's.
I was gonna say he's in Moulin Rouge right now.
I thought I just know he got arrested a bunch. So I didn't know he was in Moulin Rouge.
Well, now he's with those Broadway outlaws.
Yeah.
Those terrible theater kids. No,
Is he or short?
You had another note about the soundtrack too, didn't you, Bonnie?
Yeah, I just said they weren't played, but I love that the Beastie Boys and Spice Girls were both mentioned because those are two of my favorites. I wanted to see the Spice Girls in concert. I never got to. When they go on their world tour reunion and they get Victoria, I'm there and I don't care how much it costs. You cannot stop me. Yeah, well, no, there is, because, okay, so maybe there's not, but I didn't realize up until maybe a few years ago that essentially Spice World is the Spice Girls version of A Hard Day's Night.
More or less. I saw that movie in theaters. I saw Spice World in theaters. That's how old
I did.
Pretty sure I saw it with you.
Yeah, I just remember I saw it with my mom and my sister. So maybe it did.
I don't know. I know I watched it with you at some point in time.
My mom took me to see it, and the theater attendant who took the tickets, he went, "Okay, it's down that way, girl power," and it was really cute. He was this little old man, and it was the cute. Like, I remember that from being, I think I was 10, and I remember that. It was like, oh, it's great. It's their version of A Hard Day's Night, and that is a hill I will die on. And I didn't realize. I was like, oh my god, it's almost the same thing. Same. Oh my god.
Richard E. Grant was in that.
Mm-hmm. Meatloaf was in it. Like, everybody was in it. Uh-huh.
This has a connection to Lasso outside of them talking about Spice Girls, but like, yeah, Ted talked about her husband in the last episode, that guy that bent it.
Mm-hmm.
Oh man,
they made a movie.
Are we on?
Yeah, I was 11 when this movie came out, 1997.
It also good. I do not think that musicians are always great at acting, but they knew what movie they were in.
Butterfly.
They wrote it for their skill sets.
I said whatever the Mariah Carey movie was, Glitter, Butterfly.
Glitter.
Oh yeah, no, we don't. I have a fundamental. Just because you can sing does not mean you can act, but they knew what movie these girls were in. They wrote it to their strengths, and it's funny. Like, they are funny. Victoria Beckham is hilarious, and I don't think people think of her as funny. She's freaking hilarious. Great. It's good stuff. Mm-hmm.
Really quick, I guess the thing we should close on is first concert, best concert for the three of us.
Before that, I want to know what the hell those microphones were, the announcers were, that they put on their, like, rest on their lip.
Oh, I don't know.
I remember seeing them the first time I watched it and be like, what is that thing?
I've never used those kind of mics when I do sports related microphoneage.
Yeah,
I know
making up something.
in a lot of jobs I've had, when they do presentations, the people would like rest it right here. You put the microphone right there and talk. I'm like, you can hold it. You don't gotta. Doesn't have to touch your mouth.
Mm-hmm.
Let's try to eat the mic. Anyways.
Sorry. It's been bothering me since I saw it again, and I just like had to bring it up.
I think I blocked it out, so that's fair.
I'm trying to remember what my first concert was.
I know my first one.
It's probably one I didn't choose to go to.
I don't know. I remember my first one was seeing Goo Goo Dolls with you.
Oh, wow.
Aw. That's fun. Mine was Backstreet Boys.
Nice. You know, it's going to be funny. You know what mine one was? Because my mom probably brought me to it.
NSYNC.
Barry Manilow. I think that's what my first concert was, Barry Manilow.
I haven't been to many. I've been to more comedy shows, but not a big concert.
See, my son can say his first concert was Styx, because they were playing for free at the New York State Fair. So we brought him to that stage, and I'd be like, Patrick, you can now forever say that you're singer. I don't know, but I feel like that's much cooler to say that your first band that you saw at a concert was Styx as compared to
Depends on who you are.
You know, Barry Manilow's got a big following, so there's somebody out there that's listening to this. It's like,
Hell yeah.
Mark, screw you. I love Barry Manilow. Okay, so best concert. If it wasn't Barry, you can admit if it was Barry Manilow. This is a safe space.
Text conversation.
At least for me, not Mike.
Not a safe space. Nothing's safe. Nothing's sacred.
Yeah,
except the timeline.
Best concert. I don't know. Tenacious D in October of 2019. So it's like the last concert I got to go to for like 3 years because of COVID.
Oh, wow.
And I had wanted to see them for like such a long time. Granted, it was for their tour for Apocalypto. So I mean, that album's kind of hit or miss especially because like that concert was like that entire album, and then some of like their other songs, but I don't know. I would also maybe say like a more recent New Found Glory one that I went to this past year, because person that Mike and I went to high school with.
Brian.
Like is a
guitar tech or something.
Yeah, like a guitar tech for them. So he
cool.
Got me like good, like really good freaking seats that nobody went with me. So I had 3 seats. So if you guys lived here, we could have all gone to see New Found Glory. Yeah. It was New Found Glory and All American Rejects.
I saw that. We were talking about that. I saw that show when it was out here in LA.
Nice.
Mm-hmm.
I probably had better seats.
Well, my seats were pretty good. We had Motion City soundtrack too.
Oh, nice.
Mm-hmm.
I don't remember who else was there at the week, but yeah, that was a good concert.
Mm-hmm.
How about you guys? What was your best concert?
Although
you know what, Blink-182 with Mike.
That's what I was going to say. So.
In high school,
I haven't been to many
because
concerts.
New Found Glory opened.
They were way better than Blink-182
at that concert. That was like what, 2001? 1
or 2.
So that was like peak era New Found Glory, Blink-182. So that would and also I found out much later that my wife was at that concert too, but I didn't like meet her obviously for a few years after that. But she was at that concert.
Wild.
So it's kind of cool.
That is cool. My best concert. So I've seen Josh Groban in concert 3 times. That's who I've seen the most, just through random circumstances. But he's also probably my favorite singer. Best concert. I mean, he's very good. Don't get me wrong, but like I essentially cried through the entirety of seeing Stevie Nicks at the Hollywood Bowl, fall of 2022. Like I was going through it, and she sang Landslide, and it was a beautiful October night, and it was cold, and I was just like, it was everything.
You were letting loose.
I really was. I would say that, and if we're counting, it counts. John Williams in concert at the Hollywood Bowl too. Was incredible.
That's on my bucket list.
Mm-hmm.
Better make it happen.
Yeah. That would be something that needs to happen before something else happens.
He's coming back to the bowl this summer.
Oh man.
You should come to LA. He will be here.
Tell him to do it in September when I'm there for other things.
You might have to come out earlier.
Tell him not to pass away.
Okay, just because we have the same last name doesn't mean I know him. I wish I did.
Well, no, you obviously are related.
Obviously. He's my grandfather.
That's how it works.
Yeah.
But
worst concert I've ever been to, Bob Dylan. That was a terrible concert because you couldn't understand him, and they turned the lights all the way off in between each song so he could either hit a joint or hit a cigarette or something, because the lights would just come on and he'd be surrounded by smoke, and then he tried to be a comedian, and it was awful. And it wasn't a good time.
And in honor of my dad for his birthday was yesterday, is that I will say Mike was there, I think, maybe. No, because this was a Britney Spears concert.
I've never seen Britney Spears in person.
Yeah. And he had to leave early to go to work, and he stood up, and he was facing me when he said this. So he was right in front of me, and he yelled, "I have a B word." And then
Something was stiff.
followed that by the word "wunner" with the B in front of it, because I don't want the video to get taken up for saying. I don't know, like, if you say that word, if a video gets taken
It
out.
might.
So I'm just gonna err on the side of caution. But like, yeah, my dad would do jokes like that, which at the time I was like, cool, thanks. You had to be also like right in front of me when you said that too, so everybody that you're yelling at that. But I don't know. It's funny now.
Yeah.
But I didn't. 13-year-old Marc did not think that was funny at all.
Yeah.
I was like, God damn. But now
We
I
did
think
not
it's funny.
appreciate our parents' humor when we were 13.
Yeah.
For
And now,
sure.
Still don't.
Yeah. Well, but yeah. So yeah.
Well, if you're listening, tell us what your
was your
first concert and best concert are. Maybe
Yeah,
we
I
have
think-
some in common.
Yeah, I think Spotify lets us put in a poll, so you can put that in there for this episode.
Yeah.
But if you're watching or listening to this anywhere else, sorry, you can just leave that in the comments of wherever you're watching this.
Mhm.
I'm more of a play classical music person anyway, so that's what I prefer. I don't like the loud concerts. I have anxiety at them.
He's a man of distinction and taste. I
Not
prefer
really.
my classical music. Thank you.
Also, Flight of the Conchords was a good concert too, because they had Dimitri Martin open for them. So I got to kill two birds with one stone by seeing a comedian that I'd wanted to see and a band that I'd wanted to see at the same thing. So that was awesome.
It's pretty.
He's a hard sell for me, Dimitri. Not saying he's not funny. Just his shtick gets old for me fast.
So it was perfectly timed. It was like 20 minutes, and then I went to Flight of the Conchords. So it was like, it's nice. But yeah.
All right. Well, I think I'm going to go make some biscuits.
I'll do that tomorrow, since it's 11 o'clock.
Sylvie,
Yeah.
my dog would like some biscuits of another variety.
She could probably eat Ted Lasso's biscuits.
Oh, yeah, she can. I gave her some of the ones that got stuck to the glass.
It's just flour, sugar, butter.
Yeah. It just gets stuck in her mustache. Our next episode's going to be, for the third episode, Trent Krim, The Independent, which I think is the episode that ends up getting the most people to stick around with the show if they weren't, already sticking around after the pilot in this episode.
Third time's the charm.
I'll say that's usually what it is. Third or fourth episode, you make your decision if you're gonna stay. Stay.
Yeah.
So anyway. Till next time. When we talk about Trent Krim Independent.
Cool. That's all I got for my closer. Cool.
Yeah.
Scared the crap out of me. So it means it worked.
Yeah. Yeah, because Roy is always here to tell us when the episode is over. So.
Oh, I'm not going to.
Is his voice higher in this season? Just last question.
It's more Brett Goldstein unless
That's what I thought.
Roy can't. But everyone can find us at the Richmond Way pod.com.
I don't know where I'm
It's here, there, and everywhere, just like Roy Kent.
Ooh, and the Beatles.
Yeah.
Not so much.
Right. Well, they used to be. Go find us, follow us, interact with us. We're nice.
Places.
Yeah.
On all the places. We're mostly not nice.
Yeah. I think Blue Sky just opened up to a whole bunch of people. So
the public. Anyone.
So
can
now you don't need an
Now we gotta leave.
That'll slowly become modern day Twitter. Right now it's kind of 2006 Twitter or 2011, whatever year Twitter came around.
Whatever year, I don't use it right. So.
Yeah. But yeah, until then, go eat some biscuits and
Just not without gravy.
yeah,
And make good choices.
believe.
Unless you don't.
Unless you don't. All right.
So until next time, folks, be curious, not judgmental, and keep rewatching. This is Ted Lasso signing off. As the man once said, the harder you work, the luckier you get.